Hey, good morning. I am here to talk to you about why do we resist change and the power of resistance. If you've ever lifted weights, you know that the strength comes from the strain. It's the resistance that brings the strength. If you don't have resistance, you're not going to get stronger. Well, that is the power of change. It's the power of resistance. But why do we resist change? Well, there's a few reasons. One is it's uncomfortable. If you're not uncomfortable, if you're not having resistance, you're probably not really stretching. You're probably not really growing. I want you to think about a rubber band. You know, when you stretch a rubber band out, what does it do? It snaps back in place. But the more you stretch, the more you stretch, the more you stretch, it becomes a new shape. And that same thing happens with us. As we stretch, as we pull, as we press forward in things that are uncomfortable for us, all of a sudden we take new shape. That's happening in your brain as you do that. But you know what? We like our comfort zones. It takes work to create new patterns. It takes work to create growth. But you know what? The bottom line is we're either growing or dying. So I just want to share with you a few key things about paying attention to the power of resistance and where you are. This is based on the stages of change, and I'm going to tell you all of them, but highlight just a couple. So the stages of change are pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. But right within action and before maintenance is a thing called relapse, and we hate that. We'll get back to that. Okay, so what is pre-contemplation, the first stage of change, so to speak? Well, this one is easy to identify in other people and in yourself, because you're in this stage, you're deaf, defensive, or in denial. So maybe you won't identify it in yourself because you're in denial that this is an area that you want to change because you're not ready. When people are in pre-contemplation, they're not ready to change. And what it looks like is they're deaf to the topic, they're defensive about the topic, or they're deaf and defiant against it. They just will not listen. They push away. And that is one level of resistance, not ready. But if we stretch, if we pay attention to that and we go, oh, shoot, I'm defensive, or I'm defiant, or they're talking and I'm shutting them out, then we can start to wake up to the next stage of change, which is contemplation. And contemplation is what I like to call the yeah, but stage. This is where you hear yourself saying, yeah, I know I want to change, or I need to change, or I should change, right? But should is a shame word. So we want to stay away from shoulding on each other and on ourselves, because what we want to do is look at that yeah, but stage and pay attention to what comes after the but. Those are your excuses and your reasons that you're not changing. You'll hear, if you'll listen, the whole list of reasons why you're stuck. This is the place where most people get stuck the longest. And so listen to what comes after. You're going to hear excuses and reasons. And I do put the two there because the excuses are real obstacles that are, the excuses are obstacles that are in your way that you're just allowing to be in the way. You can rip them up. You know, I have a mentor and a friend, Jeff Roberti, and he always says, write out all your excuses and rip up the page. Like excuses are just that. They're excuses. But reasons are real obstacles that are standing in your way. And so in the Brave Leaders Plus program, when you hear yeah, but, you're going to often hear shame and blame behind it. You're going to hear with yourself, oh, I should, that's shame. It takes your energy away. Or you'll do blame. Well, it's their fault. You know, my success partner doesn't know how to do a three-way call, or, you know, her personality doesn't match mine, or he doesn't this, or the prospect, they won't commit to a time. Well, then let's get more prospects. Let's talk to more people. We don't need to stay in shame. We need to rise up, right, and be resilient and press against the resistance. So pay attention to your yeah buts. Pay attention to those excuses. Rip them up. Pay attention to those reasons that are real fears, possibly. Where the greatest resistance is coming is where our greatest fears often lie. We're fear of being exposed, that we don't know what we're talking about. Well, get a strategy, get a partner. That's the power of our success partners, is to help us strategize and to help us press past those fears of, you know, what is really going on here. Spend some time there, which is the next stage, which is preparation. This is where the rubber meets the road, and we're doing the work in our minds where we're preparing to change. Don't get stuck there, because the greatest change happens in the next stage, which is action. Because action is actually where true change happens, where the resistance is very real. It's not just psychological now. Now we're moving in it. It creates biology in our body and in our mind, and we're going to create new pathways of thinking, learning, and being, and you will never be the same on the other side, because action overcomes resistance. So keep pressing forward, press past that resistance. It is uncomfortable. Celebrate uncomfortable, because that's what you know, then you are making the greatest changes. And then before you know it, maintenance is second nature. Maintenance means, wow, this is second nature. I could do this with my eyes closed. I could take a three-way call or invite somebody without thinking about it. You know, but all of us even have a place where that person creates resistance in us for some reason. Even if you have tons of experience, well, now it's time to grow again. But remember I said that thing, relapse, that one that most of us go through over and over before we get to maintenance, before it's second nature. I love to say, cross out the word relapse, nobody likes that word, and put in the word teacher. Because a relapse is nothing but a setback that is ready to set you up for a comeback. Now here's the key. That setback will only set you up for a comeback if you will step back and learn from the action that you took and the result that you got that wasn't what you wanted. So you didn't fail, you tried. And now you're going to rise strong and you're going to learn. And here's the 3 questions that you want to ask to turn failure into a setback that sets you up for a comeback. Here's the 3 questions. What went wrong? What would I do differently next time? And who can help me? What went wrong? Look at the situation. What went wrong? What would you do differently next time? This is the adjustment. But the 3rd question is the most important. Who can help me? Because often we are not sure about the first 2. We don't know exactly what went wrong. We're on the inside. And so if we have somebody on the outside looking in, they can be our cheerleader and our coach and give us encouragement and strategy. And they can say, you know, this is what I see possibly went wrong. And this is what we could do differently next time. Because you know what else they'll often say is, nothing went wrong. You did the work. Great job. Let's move on. Let's go to the next thing. That is the power of resiliency. When there is resistance, you do it in community. And we have built such powerful community together because of this Brave Leaders Plus, because Juice Plus Company has given us this opportunity to be in community together, to rise strong together in community. And together, we're always going to be better and we're always going to be stronger. So enjoy and press through the resistance and get to the other side so you can be resilient. Have a wonderful time, and I can't wait to hear the stories.